So, what's up, guys? Been a while again. But yeah, I'm still in my exams right now. That's why it's taking a while to pump out some of the videos. But today I saw this, so I had to talk about it. The Four Nights of Apocalypse, the direct Seven Deadly Sins sequel. Haven't spoken about my thoughts on Seven Deadly Sins in general yet. I'll definitely do it in a video since I think I'll be reviewing this week to week because I enjoyed this first chapter, by the way. If you couldn't tell, I enjoyed this first chapter. So, what I want to look at, uh, I'll discuss the chapter as well, but I want to look at it from a very from a standpoint where we can understand where the author is coming from, Suzuki. So, yeah, let's get into it. Looking at the story from a marketing standpoint, I understand why he had to put like 7 Edison sequel, why that was, well, here I must have the agenda, had to put 7 Edison sequel as the selling point of the show because, come on, be honest, if 7 Edisons wasn't related to it in any ways, I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty sure statistics would attest to this, that not many people would have bought it or looked at it, gave it a try. Maybe giving it a try after a while, but when the hype wouldn't be there. So I saw why the author did this specifically. But that leads to where the author has to find a way because of course they want to deviate from the old work, they want to try something new. So they have to find a way to make it as little 7 Deadly Sins as possible and more Four Nights of Apocalypse. And I really like how this chapter was from an objective standpoint, looking at it from not objective, subjective standpoint. I think this chapter was executed beautifully. So first off, this chapter didn't feature any of the sins. When I saw Percival at first, I thought it was King and the Angel. I still kind of do. After seeing that, what takes place later down, I'll talk about that later in the video. It's kind of don't know, but I really thought that at first glance I was like, ooh, purple eyes is not the entire color, and looks kind of like a fairy child. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I still think it can be. But yeah, so I'll speak about what I liked about what they did this first chapter. They found a way to make it interesting for me, at least. It's very interesting. It's an interesting premise without the excessive use of the scenes or callbacks to the scenes. Like they threw a callback to Arthur, and I understand how that will play down later. It's a part of the story, and I enjoy that they didn't really. Oh my gosh, Meliodas, Meliodas, Meliodas. I like where the author is going with this. So let's talk about the actual chapter. So the chapter starts with us seeing a young child and an old man somewhere looking like a deserted island. So we get a bit of character showing for Percival here. That's our main character so far. So yeah, Percival, we see his perspective on things. He's a child. He looks like a child, at least he's 16. It's kind of weird. This is, I think he's even more of a fairy now that I heard that he's 16 and is looking like that. But yeah, we see a look into his psyche. We see how, as a child, he's still worried about his grandpa, even though he wants to go to adventuring, as you saw later down in the chapter. He'd rather stay on this secluded place, God's Finger, looking like some Skypiea type place, with his grandfather forever instead of going out, just to keep his grandfather comfortable and satisfy him in that aspect of not being lonely. So at the start of this chapter, we see how they are interacting with each other, Percival and his grandpa, and we get to know more about where they are. God's Finger, I think it's called. So they're on this little plateau. I think they're on like a mountain. It's plateau. When they look around, the only thing you can see are clouds. So they're on this secluded area. They can fish for fish in the sky. So yeah, fictional worlds. But yeah, we see the chapter started pretty slow, I'll admit. It was nice seeing the build up. But when Ironside, yeah, that's what I call him, showed up, that's when this chapter really started snapping and getting into gear, kicking into gear. Seeing how a random guy on a boat in the sky, Percival being weird, but he sees a random guy pull up in a boat, a boat in the sky. Yo, blah blah blah. I don't remember his name. Forgive me for that. It's a B word, I believe. So do you remember blah blah blah, for instance, and Percival? I almost called him Percy. Percival. Yeah, totally. That's my grandpa. He's over that hill. So Percival is all of a sudden he gets a chill down his spine and he looks around to see his grandfather getting folded like a we get his grandfather's getting folded hard, and then we hear the mention of Arthur that the four nights of apocalypse will be his doom according to a prophecy. I'm not sure. Did Bartra die? Probably. I think he did. But yeah, according to our prophecy. So the whole time we thought there would be a hero group. In our eyes, we saw Arthur as a good person. So this has a really good spin on it. Cause we see Arthur as a good guy after that last fight with Kath, and he wanted to create a city that, you know, all of that. Go read some of the scenes if you haven't. I don't know why you're here if you haven't. But yeah, we see that, and we would think that Arthur is a good guy. He'd be on the side of the good guys, and unless the four nights of apocalypse are taking a different turn and we're looking at the villain's perspective or something of the sort. But we hear that he's contesting Arthur's will at this point. So we see Ironside, cutting back to Ironside, massacre this guy's grandfather. This guy's grandfather got wrecked. And he dies. But it's not really an impactful death because we only knew the guy for like 14 pages. But yeah, we see him taking his helmet, his coat, leaving out, adventuring to find out what the hell's going on with his father. Yeah, and his grandfather before he dies, sorry. He feels that Ironside is his dad. Come on now. We both know that King is his dad. Where's King? What's King doing? Yeah, so yeah, I hope to see how this plays out. Good job to Suzuki for thinking outside the box here and not going with the norm of what most would do. So yeah, I will continue reviewing this one. I hope to see how it turns out. So have a good one.